Let's get started, shall we? Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic. That's no classics. This is episode number 2101 and Doubleshot number 1995. I got two Marvel trades, and they're both really good. First up we have is Silver Surfer Rebirth by, get this, Ron Martz and Ron Lem. Yep. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Unlike his last miniseries he had, which I thought was okay. Silver Surfer Black was interesting. This was a heck of a lot better of a series. Nothing against Don Dakota's. I think it was one of his more weaker books he's done. But this book is so freaking good. You have the Silver Surfer going through time, where he also did with the Shi'ar. Of course, there was the Genesis, which basically led to a miniseries for the character. Well, actually, this went off of a storyline in Captain Marvel by Peter David. We also appearances by Thanos, the original Captain Marvel. There's also appearances by Galactus, because the Silver Surfer, of course, we have Galactus show up here. And let's see. Of course, I said Thanos. Oh, also, and this stuff was really cool here. They also had, get this, they had like a bunch of characters pop up in this book. Like, it's basically the best way to describe it. It's not exactly set. You could say it's set during the 90s, especially just the cover of this book. It's basically the style of the covers from the 1990s, obviously. But we have this scene here that reminds me a lot of Star Trek. It's like, the past, status report. Still drawing closer, Captain. Engine. Yeah, it's like basically Ron Martz pulled this directly from Star Trek. Yeah, status report. Heck, the bridge layout of this thing is similar to an Enterprise bridge. Though it doesn't have an upper deck. Yeah, apparently because they're orbiting a black hole in space. So they're saved by the son of the original Captain Marvel, Gene-Velle, who later becomes the third ever Captain Marvel. After he proceeds to tell the previous Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, give it a title, also Tactile Photon. And plus, well, because it's done style 90s, gotta love this. Yeah, so Silver Surfer, I love, this is just so fun. It's like basically the best way you could also describe this miniseries. Okay, they go travels through time, right? Genesis, and they rise to get to Captain Marvel. Is that it's basically Rob Lem's love letter to basically all the cosmic stuff from the 90s, 80s, and 90s when it comes to Marvel. Mm-hmm. So then at the end of the first issue, he meets up with Thanos. Yes, Thanos, because of course Thanos. Hey, look at this. Look at the credits down below. Yeah, by the way, this book came out last year, and that's credits you would see in a comic that came out in the 90s. It's like the people who wrote, it's basically people who did this book basically wanted to pay so much homage to the 90s. There's also mentioned here about the Infinity Gauntlet, a classic story by Jim Starlin. We also appearance here by Nebula. Yes, Nebula. A woman who claimed to be Thanos' granddaughter, but actually really his daughter. And then, of course, a character who, I don't remember if he ever appeared in Silver Surfer, Jack of Hearts. Yes, Jack of Hearts appears here. Which, okay, interesting. And, of course, you have flashbacks to Galactus from the past and present day. Somewhat, anyways. And, of course, because it's Thanos, we gotta have the beautiful Lady Death here. Because, of course, she's here. And then, apparently, we have four Silver Surfers as the main one. Now, if you look at these ones here, I think this one here at the bottom, that's the Jack Kirby Silver Surfer. You could say this is basically 4 different versions of the Silver Surfer. I can tell definitely this one here is Jack Kirby's because of the style and the coloring is normally associated with Jack Kirby. So, it's basically Silver Surfer meeting 4 past versions of himself. And by the way, there is a version of the series called Tyrant. I don't remember this guy ever in any other comic part of or after this one. So, Dean's past version of himself takes on Thanos. Lots of fun here. It does have a pretty good note here. Nothing really terrible here. And of course, we have Charlotte Ball, a woman who Silver Surfer did encounter in his ongoing series, who he later broke up with after basically being sort of in a relationship with her for decades. Yep. And, well, then Silver goes off and, well, leaves Gene-Velle behind. This book is excellent. Give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. The Silver Surfer Rebirth is really good. If you're a Silver Surfer fan, or at least fan of anything Marvel cosmic-wise, check this book out. You will love it. It is so good. Yeah, the artwork, the writing, everything here is so good. Now, this is set during a particular run. Not particularly, no. I would say this is mostly during the time period of the ongoing series from the 90s for Silver Surfer, though his book started back in the late 80s. Alright, next up we have is Avengers, Volume 11, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Oh, History's Mightiest Heroes. This book collects Avengers, Volume 8, Issues 62, excuse me. Written by Jason Aaron, art by Mark Russell. Though here's the thing. Jason Aaron read all issues of this book except for one. Yes, issue 60 is not written by him. It's actually written by Mark Russell. And the artwork is done by Greg the Tracer Land. Albert Guerin does issue 57-59. 6162 is of Iron Fracture. Mostly put, it's basically the best way to describe the storyline is that it's a 6-part prelude to the final story arc of Jason Aaron's run, which actually is wrapping up right now. I believe the Omega, I think it just started recently. I think the Omega issue is set to come out in May, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, you could say also this is basically, well, then we have, first thing we have sort of like a open up middle of a war, World War II, where we see a past version of a Sorcerer Supreme who's basically part of the military, and meeting up with, well, and of course the whole thing in the storyline is fighting Mephisto. Yep. And then Thor shows up. Even despite the fact Thor never appeared in a World War II comic era for more part of this one. So, and then of course the appearance by, well, for one thing, this character never appeared in a book prior to this one. Oh, of course we have Blazing Skull, War Thing, aka the World War II version of Man Thing. If you're curious, this guy with the hot head here, that's Blazing Skull. Yes, he is the World War II Ghost Rider. Well, he's been mistaken for Ghost Rider, but he really isn't. So, like, first issue, World War II. Second issue, Feudal Japan. Yep. We're going to Feudal Japan this issue. Basically, it's like the whole thing, the storyline is the Avengers going through history. Which, okay, interesting. And, of course, Jane Foster's here as, of course, Valkyrie. Yep. I think she just rejoined the Avengers at this point in time. Yes, I believe she did. So then issue 59, Draw. Yes, it's the Old West. Yep. And you might be curious though, the Old West. Did it meet any Western characters? Well, there is a Western version of Starbrand. Yep. But do we have Two Gun Kid or Rawhide Kid? Not really, no. I would have thought though they would, because normally when they do these time travels, they usually run into the Western heroes. This one, nope. Not really. For some strange reason, there's no appearance in here by any of the any of the Western heroes. Normally, it'd be there, but they're not there. And then we jump ahead to issue 60, which is the Greg Land drawn issue, which you can say this is a fill-in issue, focus on Hawkeye, and mostly put the best way to describe this. Yeah, it's like this is basically a prelude to the Thunderbolts miniseries. Yeah, that's mostly put basically what this book is. It's just a fill-in issue. I guess the Jason Aaron was busy, couldn't finish the book in time, so basically they put this fill-in issue. Yeah, the whole point 60, it has nothing to do with the main storyline. It's a fill-in issue. I think it would have been better for the book, basically, put that after issue 62, but nope, they probably presented the book in order. And then we have 61, which is part 4 of this really good story arc here. And basically, it's all about Starbrand. And by the way, this is in present day. We also reference, no, actually, it's in their book, basically. We have her in the Old West. And then she appears as an old lady. And that leads to the finale of the story arc, which all about fighting Mephisto. And basically leading to the Avengers Assemble story arc. Where you had the Avengers team up with the 1 million BC Avengers. Which is led by Thor's father, Odin. Yep. Now, with the exception of the Mark Russell issue, I like the writing of the issue, but it's a standalone issue, has nothing to do with the main story arc. It's the first time in quite some time Marvel has done this, where they actually have a fill-in writer for these story arcs, because normally Marvel doesn't do this. They haven't done this in years. And yet, here, we have a fill-in issue. It could be 61 was late, and they probably either that or probably they plan to have Jason take an issue off so they can basically focus on this really good story arc. If you take out issue 60, it's only a 5-part story arc. 60 is there, and here's the strange thing though. As soon as Jason wraps up his run, apparently the book is getting restarted. I'll get to talk in a minute. The book is really good. I'll give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. I would give it 9.5 if it had been for Greg Land the artwork. Yes. That is my only problem with the issue. Greg Land's artwork. Yep. It has been announced recently of who is replacing Jason Aaron as soon as he wraps up the Avengers Assemble story arc, which is a crossover between this book and Avengers Forever, which was a spin-off book of this one featuring Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, forming a multiverse version of the Avengers, where you have Tony Stark as Ant-Man, and like a few other characters. Yeah, that book is like a dozen issues in, and now we're in a crossover. Unknown the book is going to continue. I have not heard anything is going to continue. I know this book will, but for the first time in 5 years, we're hitting the restart button for this book. And here's a fun fact for you about this book. Did you know, as of currently, this is Marvel's longest running book right now? I'm not kidding about that. It is the longest book. Now, before it got relaunched last year, Spider-Man had the highest number of issues. Now it's this book. Once this book gets restarted, Captain Marvel is at that point, where it's basically reaching issue 50 really soon. Now, the writer I heard is going to replace him was actually a really good choice of Rare, especially as this guy has been killing it with Black Cat, Moon Knight, Strange, soon to be relaunched because they just ended the Strange book at 10 issues. You're thinking, why are there 10 issues? Because they brought back Doctor Strange after been dead for a year, which fans probably don't like that, but the series, Death of Doctor Strange, is really good. Yeah, and that book was awesome. I can't wait to review Volume 2 for that one. And this will be his third book currently he's doing, because he's doing Doctor Strange, he's doing Moon Knight, which is doing awesome, by the way, and it has been announced he's going to take over Avengers. Okay. And he's changed the logo. Yep. Yeah, and here's the thing. Here's the logo you have for this book here. The classic logo that I think a lot of people like. I believe this logo started when Kurt Busiek was the writer of the book. Yeah, I believe so. And they've used this logo a lot of the time over the years when it comes right into the Avengers book. Jed McKay is going for the mid-90s look for the logo. The one they had just prior to his relaunch in 1986. Yep. But yeah. That's going to be pretty much it, particular review. Next up, I'm going to review One Punch Man, and then I'm going to take a little break, rest my voice. When I come back from resting my voice, I'm going to do one more, basically 2 more comic corners, and also a review of Exorcist. And who knows what else, okay? Next video. Bye.